Hello, this is Toru. After making this silhouette, I thought, what nonsense is this? Still, some people recognized it among many wrong answers. The answer was the 2P character from the opening. There were a little over 200 comments, but only a handful of people noticed it. Player 1 is always the red-haired male, and Player 2 is the blue-haired female in this game. As a kid, I always played as Player 1, so now I only play as Player 2. The first stage is a tutorial, so you can't choose any other bosses. No minions to fight, just quickly defeat the bug on top and you're done. It's also the only boss you can hit with an infinite combo in various ways. The easiest infinite combo is using the Dragon Punch, but dash attacks take out the boss the fastest. Even if a minion attacks just before the boss dies, you won't take damage if it hasn't hit you yet, even if it hits after the boss is dead. After it ends like this, the player can choose one of the 12 bosses. It's the same for the normal mode, but for the first boss, I usually choose Capricorn, which has 3 stars. The reason is that if you choose it as your first boss, you won't take any damage even if you guard. Since this boss is the one you need to block the most out of all the bosses, it's best to choose it first if possible. The blue projectile uses the standard fireball input found in most fighting games, making it easy for anyone to use. If you go down an attack during the first pattern, there will be a damage loss, so shoot a normal projectile to hit the red projectile with the red light. If it keeps spinning and disappears, a tricky Dadanity type attack will follow. Without guard damage, this boss is very easy. And the key point is to use Bloody Dance right when the boss comes down like this. Standing still and shooting blue bullets causes a delay, limiting shots. Jumping while shooting reduces the delay, letting you fire more bullets. If you're lucky, it might end while it's spinning right now, but usually you'll see the next pattern. When the zigzag pattern moving up and down is over, this time it appears from above. I used Bloody Dance too soon and got bounced back, but you do need to use it slightly early. You could win using only simple blue bullets, but it's harder and more boring. From here on, I'll keep fast forwarding the pointless score and selection screens. The second boss I chose is Aquarius. The old man rides a robot and attacks downward in a pattern, but you can only hit him with charge attacks, so you might take damage if you're unlucky. That's what happens. In this way, while you're hitting with a charge attack, the boss tries to attack, and as the player lands, they become defenseless. At that moment, the player can take damage from the attack the boss set up in advance. You need to be careful because if you touch something like a hook that appears in the middle, you might take damage. Right now, it's so chaotic that you can hardly see the ground, even if the boss attacks. For reference, if you choose it in the later stages, it gets really difficult, so if possible, pick it early and take it down. For one of the 12 bosses, Canis Major is a pretty strong boss. It's easier if you handle the minions on the left first when you start. You can't use Bloody Dance on Canis Major, so make sure to use the blue bullets effectively. Even if the robot is close and you're by the wall, melee attacks can still hit the enemy. If the boss gets close and throws its pincers, quickly get on its head after dodging. This way, the boss basically can't hit the player, and you can safely spam blue bullets. Since the boss moves a lot, a mistake could make you fall off like I did. If you can freely fire blue bullets while jumping, you can defeat the boss this quickly. Let's speed up again. This time we're facing 3-star Virgo. This boss merges with the goddess statue you see in the background and then fights the player. Since only the one minion you see on the screen appears, it's basically a one-on-one fight. Virgo is a 3-star boss, but as long as you know the strategy, it's just as easy as before. Even though it's a 3-star boss, it's easy enough to save for last. The strategy is to close in, knock it down, then run away again. When you get this far away, the boss keeps using the flying kick pattern, and even if you run away, as long as it's on the screen, you can shoot blue bullets at it, so you can just push it back with the blue bullets. You just need to keep luring it to use the flying kick pattern like this. When fighting like this, you need to keep retreating correctly, or a wrong move will leave you within the boss's attack range. Besides the flying kick, there are sliding, mirror, and grab patterns. If you get an attack range, the boss uses one of 3 patterns which are tough to react to. Earlier, I got grabbed because I made a bad decision and got cornered. If you use bloody gens, you'll soon get caught by a grab or sliding attack, so just hit like I do. If he appears at the screen's edge, use the blue shot. After his flying kick, just use a dash attack. A Of course, sometimes you might fail a dash attack like this, but that's just bad luck. Though I said it was easy, I still got hit a few times but could recover my health. Next I chose Leo, a 2-star boss. This boss flies around in the sky, so I mainly deal damage using mounts. When the boss starts shooting projectiles like this, it's good to run around and dodge, but if I feel it's too hard to avoid them, I might take some damage, but I also shoot blue projectiles back at the boss. When the boss does a slam attack, you can just go for broke and use Bloody Dance. If you're lucky, you might be able to hit Bloody Dance twice, but even if you don't succeed, this boss is easy enough to defeat quickly. Instead of struggling to beat it without getting hit even once, it's better to fight with a relaxed approach. Next, the boss I chose is Ares with 1 star. If you don't know the strategy, this boss feels like 3 stars, but with the right approach, it's only 1 star. When the fight begins, attack with melee, then stay at the edge and guard. Then, usually, you'll get a chance to get behind the boss one way or another. When the boss approaches slowly, combine your basic melee attack with your ultimate. If the boss curls into a ball, attacks won't work, but you can still grab him. When the boss uses the sudden charge and bounces back, that's your cue to use Bloody Dance. Watching the boss from behind to see the first pattern before attacking makes it much easier. Because the sudden charge pattern reappeared, I tried using Bloody Dance immediately, but the boss curled up too fast, so I missed my chance to finish with my ultimate. Next, the boss I chose is the 2-star Gemini. As soon as the fight starts, I'll use Bloody Dance on the enemy on the ground right away. It's completely up to luck, so if you're unlucky, you might get caught by Gemini's arm and fail. You can try Bloody Dance anytime when the Geminis are walking toward you. So if you see the bosses getting ready to attack, or if they're far away, shoot the blue bullets. If you see them walking and they're close enough, then try using Bloody Dance. If the boss is near the ceiling, your first task is to knock them down with Shungyang. Shooting blue bullets with a short jump is tricky, so you'll need some practice. When Bloody Dance is hitting, your entire hitbox disappears, so you won't get hit by any attack. The safest way is to keep running away and only shoot blue bullets, but that's not fun to watch, so only do that when you're playing alone. Next I chose Red, the 2-star boss. Pushing the boss into the upper corner makes the fight so easy, even 1 star seems too much. Trust your luck and use repeated jump attacks right away to get him in the corner. Then Kleor should go straight to the first floor and use Sung Yang. Now the boss only uses 2 patterns. Just like now, he either uses a barrier or comes down to the first floor. Just these 2, only 2. For both patterns, wait for the boss's invincibility to end before attacking. At the start, focus on pushing the boss into the second floor corner like this. The next boss I chose is the 1-star Taurus. You have to take care of all the minions first before the boss appears. The difficulty is set just right for a 1-star boss, and its pattern is very simple. For the main damage, you can just use Bloody Dance, and compared to other bosses, it's easy to tell when you have an opening. The easiest way to create a chance is just to get behind the boss. Then the boss will suddenly dash forward, do a back jump, and land toward your character. Just like this, after the boss lands, you can use Bloody Dance and it's really easy. The Bloody Dance command might be a bit tricky, but since this game doesn't make you jump just by pressing up, anyone can easily pull it off with a little practice. Still, there's one thing you need to be careful about when using Bloody Dance on this boss. Sometimes when the boss and the minions overlap, the damage from Bloody Dance only hits the minions, so if possible, it's important to avoid situations where the minions overlap with the boss. I'm Dadal, and I speed things up so even your skipping finger can take a break. This boss has 1 star and a single invincibility phase. When I was younger, I'd rush in if it had 1 star, but I'd often get wiped out by the boss and lose. It's safer to attack this old man from afar with strong projectiles than up close. Since he gets reckless, he'll run into strong projectiles if you keep firing them. Even if you hit him in the air, this boss takes steady damage from multiple hits. If you stop attacking for a moment, this old man quickly closes in, so you must keep attacking even if you miss. Rather than aiming, keep firing wildly and you'll eventually hit him by chance. Sometimes he guards like this, even deflecting Bloody Dance, so if you're too close, run away. I thought the boss's health was almost gone, so I tried to get close and finish him off quickly. If you rush in for close combat against the old man like Benizer did, you can get hit by this ridiculous old man's combo, take damage, and even get stunned. I panicked, ran away, and tried to lure him into another ranged fight. Be careful, if you let your guard down, the old man can deal massive damage instantly. Next, the bosses I chose were the 1-star Pearl and Onyx. There are 2 bosses, both appear at the same time, and even at star 1 level, a 2-on-1 fight is tough. Personally, I think just like Capricorn, guarding is extremely important against these bosses. Although you can't avoid taking guard damage, it's much better than just getting hit, and if you successfully guard, these guys always leave an opening, so it's easier to deal damage. When both of them come at you at the same time, you need to play as safely as possible while maintaining your guard. Since we've taken down Pearl first, now the only one left is Onyx. The tricky thing about the Pearl and Onyx stage is that you can keep attacking the body of the boss that was defeated first. This game lets you hit overlapping enemies, but bodies can block your attacks. It's easier to fight on a floor without bodies if possible. Because they share attack patterns, use the guard and attack strategy to defeat them easily. These guys have large attack hitboxes, making them tough to fight while dodging. Finally, the last selectable boss, Tourmaline, the 13-star boss. Just like Virgo, for a boss that requires 13 stars if you lure its patterns, it's actually an easy boss to defeat. If the boss is on the first floor, stand on the second. If on the second, stand on the first, roughly on the same horizontal line to lure its rolling attack. This is one of the easiest ways to beat the boss. If the boss shows a rolling motion, don't hesitate and use Bloody Dance right away. It will almost always hit. The boss's purple projectile attack has a homing feature, but it's not perfect, so it's not too difficult to dodge. Like this, during the rolling motion, the boss is invincible, so Bloody Dance won't hit. If you're too far, you can't do much, but a dash attack could help. Even if you're in range for Bloody Dance, if the input is tough, using a dash attack is fine for more consistent, though slightly lower damage. I'll say it again, the key with this boss is to bait and trigger its patterns. In this way, we've defeated all 12 selectable bosses. Now, all that's left is the final stage where we gather the 12 bosses. You have to capture them to be able to fight the boss. The guy in the bone helmet up front is Youngpa. He's reckless, but the boss beats him and he disappears. Take out the left minion quickly, then focus on the one-on-one fight. If you're unlucky like me, the boss may attack before you can deal with the minion. Often if you guard and wait from afar, the boss keeps casting spells, so you sometimes have to rush the boss instead of immediately dealing with the minion. There are many ways to defeat the final boss, but I use a method I can reliably pull off. After you knock the boss down, when it gets back up, it becomes invincible with a blue rod barrier. And if the boss gets quite far from your character, it will teleport to you with the blue rod. If it teleports behind your character, opposite to your direction of movement, you should immediately prepare for a jump attack. But if it teleports directly in front of you, I just go ahead and guard. The reason is, honestly, my reflexes aren't good enough to react to a front teleport. And even if it teleports behind you, sometimes it keeps spinning the barrier continuously, so my strategy is to choose the option with the highest probability of minimizing risk. Real experts overlap the barrier a bit to fight well, but when I tried, I just kept losing health and gave up. Some real experts even managed to land a Bloody Dance at the right timing, but since the boss's attacks are so fast, it's really hard to pull off a counterattack successfully. It takes a lot of time and requires some skill, but after the boss teleports and you see the barrier disappear, it's best to try a jump attack. If you use the short hop attack like this, you might be able to hit before the boss uses another pattern, but if the boss uses the barrier consecutively, it's really hard to deal with it. After blocking, if it feels a bit awkward to do a jump attack, a dash attack is also effective. Of course, you can't avoid getting hit by consecutive barriers, so you can consider this a coin flip rush. The boss didn't show its final pattern here, but one of its final patterns has it fly up and bombard the ground indiscriminately. It's a pattern that deals a lot of damage, and from my experience getting hit by it, it usually takes away about half your health. Watching me defeat the boss right now, you might think it doesn't look like much and that I'm exaggerating how hard it is, but if you try facing it yourself, you'll see how frustrating it is because of the boss's unreasonable amount of health and fast attack speed. I've completed every stage this way. This was Swordmaster, a game with cute characters that may look easy, but underestimating it will lead to a tough time. This was a game that used to be tucked away in the corner of the arcade I frequented as a kid, and I played it a few times. Even though I was considered quite the arcade master back then, I usually couldn't get past a few stages before getting a game over. Maybe because it was so difficult, almost nobody played it, and eventually it disappeared from the arcade I used to go to. Now that I know the strategies, I can beat it, but back then, it almost felt like a Dark Souls game for kids, a dark level game. If you're tired of Dark Souls, I also recommend some crazy boss rush games from the past. That's all from Dolly. If you enjoyed the video, I'd appreciate it if you could like, subscribe, and leave a comment.
No.
They should have made the red-haired demon the final boss. I don't get why they gave it such a crappy ending.